Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Ekamac. This is Of the Devil. I think that this option is too aggressive about the bad situation he's in, so let's try You Were Arrested and... Fortunately, I can just reload if it turns out to be wrong. Were you wearing it when you were arrested? Nah, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so... Can't have gotten too far. So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in this story so far, and he's opened up about it as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. Or is it Carlos? How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics. Focused her studies on agriculture. It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished our post-grad work this year. Got hired right out of the gate, practically headhunted. You believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company would be lucky to have her, unlike... It was a real-ass job, paid real-ass money too. So her career was starting to pan out. Right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No, Perigee Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Alco's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco is as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons. No one's going to buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough? I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. There's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? Now I'd like you to tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Oh. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. Alright, Miss, Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. Haven't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself, but more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you were arguing around 8 PM. 8? Yeah, must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really shouldn't have. I crossed the line, we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah. Walked out the front door, thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course the air wasn't fresh, just humid. Thick like mud. And while I was pissing away the time, Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics? Nah. Kinda stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details straight. My head is. But if my exact route would help, the camp's probably... What is it? Optics was what? Can that even happen? And there's no other proof you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't... Carlos. I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. We have some circumstantial things that can be done to help him out here, but we're going to need something pretty solid, because as was established earlier, they really want to bring someone to justice and say, look, it's the Heartbreak Killer, here's his head on a pike. And unfortunately, you're the best person for them to go after. Right. Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud, and it scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. But at some point, I must have started running, because when I got back I was so out of breath. When I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't... You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was. The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed or she had fallen, or there was broken glass and furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse. She was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies, especially. For me, it's always been so easy to spot a lie, but it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. Halt! Heads up! Stay up to date on details of all evidence by checking your phone. Caution! If your clients notice that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you credit. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's a fact. And we know because... Fingerprints, obviously. It's a fact your fingerprints are on the gun. I'm very unsure of myself for some reason. There's fingerprints. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun. What? But I do this. I didn't. I wasn't thinking. It was just Carlos. All I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun. but not in the way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun. So stupid, I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my home, right in front of... You were in shock, Carlos. You still are. I keep accidentally banging the table, and I worry that's doing weird things with the audio because I have been noticing weird things in my audio in editing for these episodes. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying you two never had a physical fight. What? Physical? We never fought like that. Did the police say we did? They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh. It's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just that. It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay. Let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes. You can just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was. But well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point. The bed got tossed. The cushions torn. And the urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so. Oh dear. We are not an artist. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just I guess I assumed your nose would be making edits to the AR. Well, I suppose that works too. Sorry, I didn't mean it. I think your drawing was pretty good considering... Stop talking. The mirror was upright, the clock was on the wall, the chair got knocked over, the bed got tossed, the cushions got torn. The urn, darn it! Talk about the urn! Ceramic debris of indeterminate origin. Oh, whatever. We'll probably get to a point on that in some other time. Currently in police custody. Okay, so that's just a tiny update there. I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper. I say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note you hurt them. That's I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Her what? Her fidget tubbies! Sudden whiplash from our cyberpunk dystopia to bring you Chibi. There are these collectible ceramic character things. Oh, that's what the debris is. They're supposed to be like tactile. You use them as paperweights or conversation starters. Conversation starters? She loves those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. Evidently, and wait a minute, let's read this. Collectible and fragile ceramic conversation starters. The victim's personal collection was part pulverized by Carlos Flett's replacement prosthetic arm the morning of the murder. Evidently an acquired taste. I mean, I was busy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless... whoops. Flett's rental. Discarded it in frustration after smashing into the victim's collectibles and hasn't worn it since. Okay, let's say he did break her Frigiduckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's confession for the heartbreak killings anyway, couldn't even be bothered to sweep them up, so I felt so. Alright, Carlos, thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm going to call the police back in here and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it? Oh, okay. Although before I do that, I have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak Killer? Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. Haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everyone's on edge, guy like that out there. He shoots people through the heart, right? The police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't have noticed any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this slow on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. Oh, we're going to court and we're not even... Okay, it looks like this is going to be us throwing the evidence in their face to prove otherwise. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke wherever I want. For a fee. Oh, she's gotten a fine. That's what that text is about. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right, I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It'll be my first homicide defense, though. Uh-oh. Why does everyone think the first time is so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up! I've got a relevant experience in other areas. Oh! And, what areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? No, ma'am, I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch this stuff. I mean more like playing cards. Oh, well, note that too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck. We noticed. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's the dealer? If only. No, the state's more like... the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house. D003, although for some reason my mind immediately jumps to door. So what do? We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up and eventually someone will come over, tap the dealer on the shoulder, whisper something in their ear, and then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy. What's up? You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies? Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. I get the feeling we're about to start having to pay the piper. Oh boy. Quick save. Already? She must be new. The district attorneys have final say on whether a case is or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back, because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right. What she said. You've got a weird sense of humour, counsellor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counsellor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession. Let's start there. Okay, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. Oh man, this really is going to be like poker, isn't it? It's not going to be like an ex-attorney. It's pretty simple, counsellor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment, with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now how are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts. But I've been building up my hand all night. And now I've just got the weapons to answer everything they try to throw at me. Well, my client did write that note, and it was an apology. But not for murder. It was apologizing for... Analyze the facts that have been laid out and review the responses in your hand. Select the card that best answers the argument and place it in the slot on the right. You can mouse over your opponent's portrait for a reminder on what key point you're answering. He wrote a confession. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? I found myself asking that exact same question. Beginner's luck? Win your first hand. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? This is a diagram of the room. It's created from data you captured, right? Pure, non-GMO, augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What does non-GMO means? Because GM makes me think genetically modified, but it probably doesn't matter. What's non-GMO? Oh, please answer. Not much these days. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit for sure. but I was more referring to these unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room.
The hell is that?
Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible. Because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for the debris to come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine.
How's that?
How's that possible? Wait, what? The lady at the garage told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I try and thrift shop on my own. Also, okay, for a moment I was thinking, wait, what? What a sudden twist is he adding to this? It's that he got scammed. Darn it. Well, so what? What does that even matter? If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it, then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote the apology over. You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of Fidget-tubbies! What he said. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. This impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement my client wrote that note. We can all plainly see there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. So we're presenting our own hand out in the open. Does that mean that he's going to do something to the hand in response? Simple, right?
The hell are you on about?
The entire room was trashed, as Arx clearly shows. Those Fidget-tubbies must have got pulverized during the struggle too. You really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. I need to double check this just to make sure. Flat's rental. He discarded it in frustration after smashing into the victim's collectibles. He hasn't worn it since. And it's in police custody. Is there somewhere here that tells us about how he was found without it? Right, he didn't have his arm when she died because there's no blood on it. I think that's our key of attack here. But I'm hitting the F4 key just in case. Stiff and unyieldy, a dusty Fidget-tubby slayer in police custody. Please give me the... This is slightly wonky. Just take a look at the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your finger should show just how devastating it was to the Fickle-tubby ecosystem. It's Fidget-tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your text found ceramic debris on it, yes? Now you mention it. Fine, whatever. He broke him with his arm. While he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that had logged the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report. Said that rental hadn't been used since the AM.
Whose side are you on, old man?
It's gone pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can. Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for your service.
Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was upset over a Fidget-tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? Setting aside Detective Ray's surprisingly depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, you're correct, they held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what?
So what?
After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. Because Carlos is right-handed.
Yeah, I am.
Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason why that note looks like Asylum Wall scribbles is just because he had to use his left hand to write it. I tend to think better writing than typing. And I need to get used to losing my left anyway. No, using his left. Don't lose your left hand as well. Please don't. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account along the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine, forget about the confession. Congratulations, Counselor. You've established your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. This is going to be about the fingerprints.
Here are the facts.
We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that just happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is... What, you're not gonna claim it's not his, that he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me in her typical low-key fashion. As the arguments flow, you won't always have the stronger hand. Sometimes the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Oh, this is interesting. Sometimes we won't have the answer and we have to let the argument slide. Try to lose as little credit as possible while you wait for a more favourable chance. She must have something, no sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, Detective? I'm just curious, what'll it be next? You're gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? This is getting me very... Okay, I am quick saving for this. Gee, Carlos, do you? No. Yeah, sure there's no evil twin for you've forgotten to mention. There's no evil twin. No, I'm afraid not. Not even going to shoot for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime. To prove his innocence, I will have to get there eventually. But going there now without hard evidence... We don't have evidence. I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. It was obvious she had something there. I wasn't going to win that hand either way. But at least I didn't know to step and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. So is this actually a health bar? Like, you pick up extra information over time, but every time you make a blunder, it goes down. Because I know that there's a store here. But it's not in a currency that I have. Maybe I should stop pushing these buttons. Huh? Reward for playing Of the Devil Demo 2024. Reward for clearing Episode 1 on High Roller. Cannot be enabled mid-case. You know what? I'm not going to touch that because that's scary. So I changed a setting on it just by buying it, but now I have no idea what I changed. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene, which was not smart. Hey! But not illegal either.
And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes.
Yes, he did. Right. Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way? Lab finished with them a while ago.
What are you getting at?
It'll be easier just to show you.
Would you mind getting them for me?
You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. These things are bullshit in here anyway. Knew I thought the room smelled like... Psst, Morgan. What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad? Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck. Or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. Yeah. What was it that reminded me of? Alright, here it is. Blood on the left sleeve. One bloodstained jacket fresh from the lab. And they immediately changed it. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is just hot sauce? No, that would be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey. Sorry you just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. By a gun that happens to be an old world pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? No other details of any forensic significance found. Gunpowder residue. Honestly, I was very concerned for a moment there. Actually, I am still concerned. Sense happens to be the key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can. Oh, damn it. I don't know. I don't know how gunpowder residue works. I was on such a roll, wasn't I? And we're 40 minutes in, so I guess I'll see you in a bit. Till next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around. I'm gonna have to go look up gunpowder residue.